What's up everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we've got Miesha Tate talking Aspen Ladd, Uncle Dana talking about Nick Diaz, Derrick Lewis on his record-setting knockout, and much more. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel to see more videos just like this. Now let's get into it. Dana White says Nick Diaz is fighting because he has to and thinks he shouldn't continue. Despite what anyone may think of Nick Diaz's performance against Robbie Lawler back in September, UFC President Dana White is highly respectful of the California native, an MMA legend. But White believes that the elder Diaz brother shouldn't be fighting anymore. Diaz, a veteran of the sport with just under 40 MMA fights to his name, 20 of them in the UFC, he's faced the best of the best. After a long 6.5-year layoff from the sport in which he was competing for UFC titles, he finally came back to the octagon at UFC 266 in September to take on Robbie Lawler in a rematch of their classic 2004 fight at UFC 47. Yeah, it was that long ago. Diaz didn't look like his old self, but that was to be expected after such a long time away from the cage. He also didn't seem to want to be in there. Lawler, a former UFC champion himself, beat Diaz via TKO in the third round. In his post-fight interview, Diaz indicated that the fight was set up without his full approval, expressing mixed feelings about fighting. Well, this week, during an interview with ESPN's Brett Okamoto, Dana White said he flat out believes that Diaz should not be fighting and that he has no fights booked at the moment. He also indicated that Diaz doesn't seem to want to fight anymore. This is what he said.
It's not that I was in favor of it, but listen, he's a grown man and you know, he can do whatever he wants to do. I just don't think that Nick does it because he loves it. I think Nick does it because he has to do it. You know, and I don't know, man. It's what I talk about. People always ask me, you know, what's the key to success? It's all about being happy and doing what you love.
What do you make of White's comments? Do you agree with the UFC boss man and believe Diaz shouldn't be fighting anymore? Or do you think the opposite? Let us know in the comments below. The early favorite to be Jake Paul's next opponent? Anderson Silva. Online bookmaker BetOnline recently released the odds on who could be Jake Paul's potential next opponent in the boxing ring. And the early favorite is another former UFC champion, MMA legend Anderson Silva. The Brazilian opened as a 3-1 favorite to be Paul's next opponent, followed by Tommy Fury, then Dillon Danis and Nate Diaz. The Brazilian holds the record for the longest reign as UFC champion at 2,457 days as middleweight champion, with a UFC record 16 successful title defenses. Paul is coming off a big 6-round knockout win over former UFC welterweight champion Tyron Woodley in Tampa, Florida last week. It was Paul's second win over Woodley, following his decision win back in August. Paul also knocked out former Bellator and ONE champion Ben Askren earlier this year, back in April. While Woodley and Askren had no experience in professional boxing prior to fighting Jake Paul, Silva is 3-1 in his pro boxing career and won a decision over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. back in June. He followed that up with a knockout victory over former UFC light heavyweight champ Tito Ortiz this past September. What do you think of a potential boxing fight between Anderson and Jake Paul? And who do you think would win that fight? Viral beer flincher says Nate Diaz is no gangster. The viral video that has the world laughing at a guy who spilled his beer when Nate Diaz pretended to punch him is now identifying himself and has some choice words for the Stockton native. Diaz was at the Amalie Arena in Tampa, Florida to watch the Tyron Woodley-Jake Paul rematch. The video that has been making the rounds shows Diaz being escorted by security out of the arena, but on his way out, he fakes like he's about to punch a man, which causes the man to flinch and the beer, all of it, goes flying into the air. The video was posted on Twitter with a caption that read, "Curious to know what incited these Nate Diaz shenanigans last night." The video has well over 1 million views and was even reposted by Dana White. Now, the man who everyone is clowning on in the video is identifying himself and calling out Diaz for his actions in an Instagram video. His name is Carice Archer, and he's also an MMA fighter. This is what he had to say.
Hello, world. I've seen all the laughter. Everybody laughing. Ha ha. Same thing, make you laugh, make you cry. Nate Diaz is a bona fide female dog. He had the police with him, had the security protecting him, and you gonna flinch at me and try to punch me when I'm not paying attention? And y'all think this man's a gangster? I think the world is up and confused around here when they think about what is a real gangster. I'm a real street dog. I'm in the streets. Believe that. Anybody that know me know how One Punch rocking, and we don't do while the police there.
Archer then goes on to talk about Dana White, saying how it wouldn't be funny if he signs him for one fight and knocks out Diaz.
I'm in the gym training right now for your week. So when I see you, I'm knocking you the out. Dana White, sign me for one fight. That's all I need. I'll fight his ass for free. Guaranteed. I'm putting him to sleep. First round. Guaranteed. That's all I need.
It's still unclear exactly what happened that Diaz had to get escorted out of the building, but we can only guess. Either way, what do you think about the incident? Don't forget to take a second to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all the latest fight news. Derrick Lewis says that the UFC knockout record doesn't mean anything, and it's all about making the boss happy. Derrick Lewis set the record for most UFC knockouts in history with 13 on Saturday night. He slept Chris Daukaus at UFC Fight Night 199 at the UFC Apex in a fight that saw him bounce back from his loss at the hands of Ciryl Gane back in August. Lewis snapped his tie with Vitor Belfort and Matt Brown with the Daukaus KO. While you'd think he'd be incredibly proud of the achievement, especially given that he's been in the UFC since 2014, Lewis is unfazed by it. Case in point, during the post-fight press conference, Lewis was asked what the knockout record meant to him, and this is what he had to say.
It doesn't mean anything. It means something, I guess, because all the greats that was here before me, but it really doesn't change anything. Because there's still a lot of other guys that's active and been doing pretty good as well.
UFC President Dana White, for his part, has praised Lewis for his performance and believes he's doing what he can to get back in the title shot picture. White said he was impressed by Lewis's ability to come back from a loss and bury his next opponent. But what do you think about Lewis's record of 13 knockouts, the most in UFC history? Aspen Ladd calls out Miesha Tate, who rejects it due to Ladd's weight struggles. The fourth-ranked women's bantamweight, Aspen Ladd, has been calling out Miesha Tate, and a beef has been simmering between the two. It all started when Tate, a former UFC bantamweight champion who only recently came out of 5-year retirement for another run at the belt, made comments about Ladd when she missed weight, saying Ladd failed at trying to cheat the scale prior to her UFC Vegas 38 bout and ended up missing weight. That fight against Miesha Tate was eventually canceled. Tate later then made comments suggesting that Ladd's relationship with Jim West, her coach and boyfriend, was, quote, problematic. Then, when Tate lost to Ketlin Vieira at UFC Vegas 43 last month, Ladd hinted that the two should settle the score and fight. But Tate, for her part, says she doesn't want to waste her time with someone who most likely will make the weight. This is what Tate said on her YouTube channel about the situation.
Aspen Ladd has called me out to a fight at 135 pounds. I'm afraid that I'm going to waste an entire camp training for a fight that may very well end at the scale. Aspen Ladd has missed weight 3 times in her MMA career, and 1 time she failed to make it to the fight due to weight cutting issues. So all in all, 4 times.
It's true, Ladd has a history of missing weight that stretches back to her Invicta days, when she came in heavy for her bout with Jessica Hoy in 2016. Then, her fight against Jessica Ai at the Ultimate Fighter 25 finale was cancelled because she fell ill due to the weight cut. She missed weight again in 2018 when she was scheduled to take on Leslie Smith. In 2019, she nearly collapsed on the scale while weighing in for her fight against Germaine de Randamie. This is in addition to her missing weight for the previously mentioned Miesha Tate fight. Do you agree with Tate for not taking this fight? Today's video was jam-packed with some juicy stories from the fight world. What are your thoughts about what's going on in MMA? Don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel to see more videos just like this. See you next time.